Hello students, hope you are well and working hard to achieve your goals. So welcome to the commerce class. Today we will start our next chapter, chapter 9, public sector undertakings and global enterprises. In this chapter we will learn the concept of public or state enterprises, its meaning, definition and characteristics. Then we will discuss difference between private and public sector enterprises. Then objectives of public sector enterprises, role of public sector enterprises in India, growth of public sector enterprises in India. Then we will discuss forms of public sector enterprises in India. So first one is departmental organizations. In this we will discuss its meaning, features, merits, demerits, suitability and utility. Then we will discuss statutory or public corporations, its meaning, features, merits, demerits and utility. Last form of public sector enterprises is government companies, its meaning, types, characteristics, merits, demerits, suitability and utility. Then we will discuss comparison of departmental public corporation and government company, case for and against public sector enterprises, public private partnership, its meaning, definition, features, project, roles and responsibilities, benefits and strengths. And the last topic in this chapter that we will discuss is global enterprises or multinational companies. In this we will discuss meaning, concept, characteristics, advantages and disadvantages, role and future of global enterprises. So today we will discuss our first three topics: meaning, definition and characteristics of public enterprises, difference between private sector and public sector enterprises, and objectives of public or state enterprises. So before that we will discuss some public enterprises in India. So these are the top profit making public sector undertakings in India, that are Oil and Natural Gas Corporation Limited, Indian Oil Corporation Limited, NTPC Limited, Coal India Limited, Power Grid Corporation of India Limited, Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited, Power Finance Corporation Limited, Mahanadi Coalfields Limited, Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, GAIL India Limited. So these are some companies that work in India and in the list of top profit making public sector undertakings in India. Next, there are public sector undertakings in the category of Maharatna, Navratna and Mini Ratna. So there are 10 Maharatnas, 14 Navratnas and 74 Mini Ratnas of central public sector enterprises in India. So these are the four categories that are included in the public sector undertakings. So first one is Maharatna. So these are some companies that cover or that work under the category of Maharatna, like National Thermal Power Corporation, Steel Authority of India Limited, Indian Oil Corporation Limited, Coal India Limited, etc. And the rest of these are also the Maharatnas. Next is Navratnas, like Bharat Electronics Limited, National Mineral Development Corporation, Container Corporation of India, Engineers India Limited, likewise Power Finance Corporation. So these are some Navratnas that are provided or that work in the category of Navratnas in public sector undertakings. Next is Mini Ratnas. So there are two categories of Mini Ratnas, Mini Ratnas 1 and Mini Ratnas 2. So some companies are covered in this category, Mini Ratnas 1, and some are in second category, Mini Ratna 2, like Airports Authority of India, Antrix Corporation, Balmar Lavre, Bharat Coking Coal Limited, Bharat Dynamics Limited. So these are some examples of Mini Ratnas 1. Likewise, some companies are included in the Mini Ratnas 2, like Engineering Projects, Central Railside Warehouse Company, Central Mine Planning and Design Institute, likewise HMT International Limited, Indian Machines and Pharmaceuticals Corporation Limited. So these are some companies that cover in the Mini Ratnas too. So now we will discuss some key terms that today we are using. So first one is public enterprises. As we learn what are the public enterprises or which companies are included in the public sector enterprises. So the public sector enterprises is those or these enterprises that provide a wide variety of goods such as ships, aircraft, chemicals, locomotives, iron and steel, fertilizers and heavy machinery. Any enterprises which is established, managed and controlled by the government is known as public enterprises. So we can say that public enterprises means state ownership and operation of industrial, agricultural, financial and commercial undertakings. Such enterprises are run mainly to provide services to the public and not to the profit motive. Now next is public sector. So public sector is owned, managed and controlled by the government. It is funded by the government. It has a motive of welfare oriented. And the last one is the public sector includes such services as police, military, public roads, public transit, primary education and healthcare for the poor. So this is the meaning of public sector enterprises. And these are the important key terms that today we are using also. So next is that how the public sector generates income. So they take taxes and in return they provide benefits to the citizens of the country. So now we will discuss the characteristics of public enterprises. So first one is state ownership. So in this the enterprises are owned, managed and controlled by the local, state or a central government. Sometimes they are jointly owned by the central and the state governments. So in this there is a control of state or central government. Next is management and control. So these enterprises are managed and controlled just like a joint stock company in the form of departmental undertakings or a corporation or a government company by the government elected directors. Next is financing. So basically all the public enterprises are financed from government resources or the resources that the government has. Although some portion may be contributed by the private sector in the form of loans and borrowings by the governments. Fourth characteristic is service objective. So the main objective of public enterprises is to provide necessary and essential services to the citizens and the nation at an appropriate cost. Also they work with the motive of profit to smoothly run the enterprises. Next is public accountability. So these enterprises are not accountable to the particular set of public as a joint stock company is. They are accountable or responsible to the public at large. Such accountability is carried out through the parliamentary control on the working of these enterprises. Means they are accountable to the parliament or a government, not to any other private party. Next is establishment. So as it is controlled by the central or a state government, so it is established by the central or state government. The undertakings is the major part of the department attached to a particular ministry. These enterprises are established in a social, economical and a natural national interest. Next is industrial relations. So generally industrial relations are liberal in these enterprises because these are basically established to fulfill the economic and social objectives. In these enterprises, interests of employees, society and consumers are given priority. And the last one is bureaucracy. So it is an administrative control or a system characterized by the hierarchical and impersonal relations. Specific division of work and extensive use of filing system is included in this. So these are some characteristics of public sector enterprises in India. Next, we will discuss the comparison between public sector and private sector enterprises. So in this, first basis of difference is objective. So the private sector enterprises work with the main objective of earning profit, but the public sector enterprises work with the main motive of providing services to the public and not to earn profits. Next is formation. So the formation of private sector enterprises involves a long process because there are some formalities given by the government or a Companies Act 1956 that are to be fulfilled. But in the public sector enterprises, it can be formed in a short time just with the government decision. Next is management. So private sector enterprises are managed and controlled by the board of directors who are professionals and experts. But public sector enterprises are managed and controlled by the board of directors who are generally the representatives of the government. Next is freedom of operation. So there is a more freedom of operation in the private sector enterprises, but there is a less freedom in public sector enterprises due to a political interference. Next is capital. So in the private sector enterprises, maximum capital is contributed by the owners or the investors, but as compared to the private sector enterprises, in the public sector enterprises, maximum capital is contributed by the government. Next is employees. So the private sector enterprises recruit and select their own employees and they have their own rules regarding their remuneration. But in the public sector enterprises, the employees of the public sector enterprises are generally the civil servants and they follow the rules or government rules regarding remuneration. Next is accountable. So the private sector enterprises are not directly accountable to the general public, but the public sector enterprises are accountable to the general public as their performance is discussed in the parliament. Next is performance evaluation. So in the private sector enterprises, the performance of a private sector enterprises is judged on the basis of economic gains only, means what they earn in the company. But in the public sector enterprises, the performance of a public sector enterprises is not only judged by the economic gains but by many non-economic criteria as well. So these are some points of differences in the private sector enterprises and public sector enterprises. Next, we will discuss the objectives of public sector enterprises. So the objectives are divided into three categories. First one is economic objectives. So in the economic objectives, our first objective is planned growth. For example, Steel Authority of India Limited, Coal India Limited, etc. The private sector wants more profit and invest in consumer goods instead of producer goods like wood, steel. So public sector comes forward to invest on producer goods and set up new industries or to provide diversified and a balanced growth in the economy. Next is accelerating the rate of economic growth. For example, in Amritsar, the startup of metro buses is also an example of economic growth and increasing the employment opportunities. So, public sector enterprises are established to accelerate the rate of economic growth and employment by setting up key and basic industries. The public sector enterprises provide an essential base for faster economic growth in the economy. Next is regional growth or a regional development. So for example, the State Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, Union Bank of India, these are some banks that are established their branches in rural areas to provide services like loans or borrowings to poor people. So we can say that the state is more justified in setting up new enterprises in backward areas which require greater economic development or a development than already advanced areas. The balanced development of all the regions is one of the worthy aims of state ownership of industry and trade. Next is to make available essential goods and services cheaply and in abundance. For example, government provides ration card facility to people to get goods and services at cheaper rates. So public enterprises provide a regular supply of essential goods like water, gas, electricity and communication at reasonable prices, because the private sectors can exploit the consumers by hoarding or black marketing of essential goods. So public sector enterprises instill competition and eliminate these malpractices in economy. Next is mobilization of funds for development of projects. So for example, like demonetization is the best example of mobilization of funds in India, as lot of black money was going out from the country. So sufficient funds are collected and mobilized to invest as capital in the national projects for industrial development in the country through public enterprises. So these are some objectives that are included in the category of economic objectives. Now we will discuss some social objectives. So next one is social objectives. In the social objective, our first objective is to restrain monopolistic tendencies. For example, BSNL provides services at cheaper rates than Nokia, Airtel, Idea, so that people can't be exploited by private sector enterprises. As private sector enterprises exploits the customers and create monopoly in the economy. So public enterprises are established as competitors, therefore the chances of monopoly and restrictive trade practices are minimized. Next is to take over control of mismanaged and decaying enterprises. For example, National Textile Corporation was set up by the government to take over the sick textile units in various parts of the country. So the units that are sick, mismanaged and decaying may be taken over by the government so that the resources should not be wasted in the economy. Next is to provide employment opportunities. For example, in Amritsar, establishment of metro buses, flyovers help to create employment opportunities in Amritsar. So the government is responsible for providing and expanding employment opportunities to its citizens by establishing new enterprises. Next is to resolve class conflict and help in equitable distribution of wealth. For example, reservation of seats in schools and jobs for scheduled castes help to provide or help to reduce class conflicts. So private enterprises leads to concentration of economic power in few hands. So public sector enterprises are established with a view to prevent misuse of national wealth and promote its equitable distribution in the economy. So next is the political objectives. So in the political objectives, our first objective is national defense. For example, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited company manufactures aeroplanes and provides them to Indian government, because defense is the backbone of our country. So public enterprises produce good quality of armaments, machines and aeroplanes to make the defense stronger in the economy. Next is safeguard the national interest. So public enterprises safeguard the national interest, as public enterprises help a lot in the development of our country through large scale capital formation and industrialization. Last one is political ideology. So public sector supports the political ideology of a mixed economy. Government intervention is necessary for overall national development and growth, equitable distribution of income opportunities, and prohibition of malpractices and correction of market imperfections. So these are some objectives of public sector enterprises. So now you have to write the question answers. So your first question is, what do you understand by public enterprises? Explain their characteristics. Second, distinguish between public and private sector enterprises. And the third one is, discuss the objectives of public sector enterprises in India. So go through the various links so that you can write the answer of these questions